Getting a divorce is overwhelming. Family attorney Jaclyn Robertson with JR Law Group tells us the 4 things women should know in the process of a divorce. Jaclyn, thanks so much for being here. Now, this is a road that I've walked down, and oh boy.
Right?
We're so glad we have you here to guide us through.
Yes.
Now, the first tip you have, half of the marital estate is yours, even if you have never worked.
Yes. So that's the thing. It is a very challenging, scary place to be when you're facing divorce. And we've had a lot of clients call us just absolutely frightened to death because they know that they're in a bad situation. Divorce is inevitable, but they feel like they may just be left utterly destitute financially. And so a lot of times it's understandable, but our first thing that we want to explain is that the marital estate, even if you haven't worked, is half yours. And what that means is even if you've been home, say, you know, some of our clients have raised children, then the savings of your partner, if they've been saving off in an account, when you face divorce, that's going to be split. So everything across the board is going to be equitably split, and also even their income. If you've been making sacrifices to be home or just haven't worked for whatever reason, they will have a duty to help you transition beyond the marriage and provide that financial support, alimony, child support. And so the whole piece is that it's supposed to be equitably divided, the marital estate.
It is such a fear, and I feel like that's sometimes why you stay a little longer than maybe you should, because you feel like, I'm going to be left with nothing, I don't know how to leave.
Exactly.
But that's not going to happen.
No.
Now, you also say don't put off the inevitable because it doesn't get any easier later. What do you mean by that?
So that's another thing. If you're in a bad situation where divorce is inevitable, we want to help clients understand that it doesn't necessarily get easier. In fact, the longer that you're in a marriage, in the marital estate, the more tied and tied to that you become, because we've had some clients who have put it off literally for a couple of decades, maybe to raise the children, and their biggest regret is that they didn't do it sooner. Because as I mentioned, you know, the marital estate will be divided, but when you exit the marriage sooner rather than later, then you will have opportunity to rebuild more easily and start on your own. And we just want people to understand putting it off doesn't make it better.
Yeah, and you mentioned kids, and I think sometimes that's another thing that holds us back because there's children involved, but
Absolutely.
We don't want to stay in a bad situation and teach our kids the wrong things about relationships.
Yes, and then, yeah, keeping that in it is not easier for them necessarily either for a lot of reasons.
Now, number 3 is be clear and assertive up front. This can be hard, especially when you're in the jumble of what am I going to do with the rest of my life, what's happening.
Yes, so a lot of times right up front, we have clients who, some of them want a divorce but feel guilt or are afraid, and some of them will say, well, just, they can have everything. Or they're walking on eggshells kind of thing, their initial approach. But what we want to help clients understand is that having a clear, assertive path up front, it actually is the best way. And it doesn't mean that you're trying to be unfair or aggressive. It just means, you know, follow the advice of your attorney. Make sure you have a good rapport with your attorney. Trust their advice, and taking steps up front about getting even the financial support maybe in place that you need. And if you don't be assertive up front, it's much harder to change it later, because once you get beyond the reality of divorce and you're on the other side, you're going to have reality, and you're going to want to make sure that you've gotten your fair share of marital support and the right financial support in place, because it's much harder to try to change it later once everything's finalized.
Absolutely. There's no backtracking, or it's not going to be easy if you want to.
Exactly.
Now, many divorces are settled without ever going to court.
Yes. So that's another piece that, you know, even on TV, we have clients that have seen on TV, you know, these wild courtroom battles, or even in mediation where the parties are sitting across the table hammering things out. And we just want clients to understand that in reality, a lot of divorces from start to finish resolve without ever seeing the inside of the courtroom. The biggest factor for that is because Utah requires that people going through mediation have to attend mediation. Going through divorce have to attend mediation, and it's been a very effective tool. You've got a neutral third party, you have your attorney, they have theirs, you're not even in the same room.
Yeah.
Yes, you're not even together. A lot of clients don't even understand that.
Yep.
And it's a place to hammer out the issues, and it's a much more cost-effective, and divorce is stressful as it is.
Yeah.
So not having the courtroom litigation really kind of helps streamline the process and help get you to the other side with less emotional turmoil.
Well, I will say this, having a good attorney is key, and we love having you here. You are one of the best. You know your stuff.
Thank you, Dina.
Where can people find you?
I'm at JR Law Group. Follow me on Instagram. I have my website at jrlawgroup.com, or give us a call and schedule a consultation.
Thanks so much, Jaclyn.
Thank you.
Coming up, an important event for people impacted by breast cancer.